Every artist fantasizes about signing themselves to themselves, but I also understand about 96% of those artists that are fantasizing don't really understand what this means. All right. Now, there are two pillars that you must understand to get this system right. However, while some of this may confuse you if you don't understand the business, by the end of this video, you will understand how this system works and if it will be a good fit for you and what you're doing. My name is Casey Graham, and this is the Music Money Makeover Show. All right, Ludacris, tell it like it is. Release therapy. Open a bank account quick and then follow these steps. Sign yourself to yourself and start signing your own checks. That was the lyric. This lyric lives in infamy. I get why it lives in infamy. It sounded sexy when you listen to the whole song and you put that lyric in context. But what does it mean to sign yourself to yourself? And is it necessary that you do this maybe at the stage that you're at right now? Well, check it out. Services, let's talk about it. The first thing we have to get control over is your exclusive services. In many cases, your services will be requested by any party who requires a task from you. And it is your job to protect yourself while doing these services and retain ownership of those services. Services should be loaned out, that's our key, from you, and no company should have entitlement to your labor as an independent contractor. A lot was said that. No company should have entitlement to your services as an independent contractor. Your services should be loaned out. Let's keep going. Loan out deal. Sign yourself to yourself. This is the core concept of signing yourself to yourself. It requires that you set up an LLC just for the services you will provide to the company for payment. This way, your services will not remain exclusive with the purchasing company, the record label, and they will remain exclusive to you and your new LLC that you made. This provides a buffer between you and the other company, which is the record label. Your services are your exclusive recording services, your labor. I'm going to walk into a studio, I'm going to use my vocal, and I'm going to say something on the microphone. That costs a fee. That is a service. I'm doing a service to create a master recording. Me singing, me rapping is a service. Okay. That service needs to remain with me. And in order to protect that service, I need to sign that exclusive service to the LLC that I'm going to do business with. That puts a buffer between me and the purchasing party. Okay, check it out. Insurance, the inducement letter. Due to you, the artist having no direct deal with the major label, they will want insurance. This is so you will do for your company what you said you would do for the services. They will ask for this insurance through an inducement letter stating that you will give a personal guarantee for financial responsibility of the services or of the service fee if your company does not perform the services agreed upon. It's just good business. Let me assure myself, just in case you try to pull something slick, I pay you for the services, right? And then you just decide to dip out on, run off on the plug. At least I got an inducement letter that says, not so fast. I need you to get these recording services done for me, baby. Come back, all right? Or otherwise, everything's going into collection and all of that. Now, check it out. Intellectual property. The second thing we've got to address is the intellectual property you create with those services. Your intellectual property should be owned by your company and licensed for use in order for the intellectual property to be returned back to you after use. I'm going to read that one more time so it makes sense to you. Intellectual property. The second thing we've got to address is the intellectual property you create with those services. That's the master recording. Your intellectual property should be owned by your company, that's your LLC, and licensed for use in order, that's licensed to the label, in order for the intellectual property to be returned back to you after they're done using it. Simple enough. I won't harp on this one. I won't talk too much. Let's just go to the next part. Now we got to get to the money. Advancing your license. Typically, this model is chosen to gain an advance on intellectual property sales or the sale of your music, okay? In order to further other vertices, which is just different types of businesses you have in your operation. However, Payment terms on the license should not be subject to royalty repayment only. It should be subject to direct repayments as well. The latter takes true negotiation skills. However, this provides you with autonomy to regain your independence quickly. All right, so it's just a licensing deal. So you want to do a licensing deal with the product that you just created. Okay, we do a loan out deal on the services. They give us an inducement letter for insurance. We license out what we created to the record label. Let's go a little bit further. Owning your masters under license. Now, typically your record label LLC will own your masters that you create and allow the record company to borrow the rights to monetize the masters for a set term. Usually 10 to 15 years, but mostly 10 nowadays. They will advance you for that time period, and it is on them to promote the recordings to recoup the promotional budget back in the advance revenue they paid you out of your percentage. That's your artist royalty, okay? If all of this is done within 10 years, your artist royalty opens up, and after 10 years, the master ownership reverts back to your LLC. Fantastic. Lastly, unless you're on bad terms with your label, it may be in your best interest to allow the label to offer you administrative services to keep the gravy train going. Now, before we go to the next point, I do want to say in the last point, I breezed over a sentence saying something along the lines of being able to pay back that advance on your own terms or something like that. This does take negotiation skill. This is not common. It's not common at all. But if you have the power and the leverage to make this happen, then this is going to be the position that you want to be in. Because if you can pay back that advance on your own time, in addition to the record label collecting your money from the royalties that come in, then this gives you a lot more autonomy and independence over your career, which is what you want. So you want to be able to negotiate that clause in. All right, let's keep going. Do I need to sign myself to myself if I'm independent? In the case of recording services, no. In the case of other high-paying labor services, yes. Yes, you should. At which point would you do this? When labor requests are over $10,000. I'm assuming your question would be why? Mainly because the IRS is going to throw up a red flag and say, hey, what was that $10,000 transaction for? And on top of that, you're entering tax payment territory on a payment that high. Really, once you step over that $13,000, $14,000, you're going to want to do a loan out deal on your services, which is why earlier in the video when I mentioned vertices and the other operations in your business, like performances and merchandise and whatever else you got going on, what other businesses you got going on, you want to lend out physical services that you have to do for high dollar amounts to protect yourself, to put a buffer in between the other party and you. Put you behind the corporate veil of your LLC, and the other company goes on this side of the LLC for that corporate veil of the LLC. Do business with the LLC. You're going to want this. Why does every artist fantasize over this? It sounds sexy to artists that don't know how it works. And then two, it works pretty dang good for artists who know how to use the system. Now, this system that I explained today is a lovely system, especially for those who are ready to put it in use. However, to make it work, you have to have an LLC foundation to set the loan out deal on top of. That's what makes it work. That's why you keep hearing me say in my videos, if you're an artist, a singer, a songwriter, a new music business exec, or even a producer that needs to get your record or publishing company started, set up in 60 days or less without searching all over the internet for the misinformation and through the red tape, then I got you covered. This is why we build a strong LLC foundation to build things like this on top of. So you can survive and thrive through this music industry and protect yourself. On top of that, you'll be able to go and navigate this industry because you're going to learn how to play it via contract. You're going to play this game via contract because that's how it's played, and you're going to learn how to do it. On top of that, you'll be able to collect your international and domestic record and publishing royalties without the middleman taking 15%. There's a way you do it, and a lot of people don't know how to do it, and a lot of my clients actually go listen to my videos and do it on their own. Don't want to do that. You got to go through the system. There's a method to the madness, okay? So if this is your first time watching the channel, click the link below to get started today. However, if this is your first time watching the channel, don't be afraid to grab the free stuff below. 10 major steps to increase your record label's profits. All right, a free split sheet is included with that download. Let's talk about the upside to today's video. If you utilize the loan out system, you'll increase your autonomy and allow yourself to benefit from your career much more efficiently than not. This allows you to make a quicker exit in some cases while allowing you to continue to make even better music while enjoying your career. If you don't utilize the loan out system, you're at risk of being used and abused easily in the entertainment industry. I'm just saying that's what it is. So anyway, if you feel that signing yourself to yourself makes sense for the position that you're in, I'm pretty sure it's going to make sense for the position that you're in. Anybody should be doing this if they're thinking about signing to a major indie, an independent label, or a major label. Anytime you're thinking about signing to a label or doing services that are over $10,000, you're going to want to do this. All right. So music money makers, if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com, jump into the 60-day record label course, grab the free stuff below, book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com, and guess what? Smash the like button, and I'll see you next time. Peace.